stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show on this opening day of the NFL 2022 season. How about that? We got football tonight, Thursday night football, Rams and Bills. It's going to be a good one. Cannot wait. We'll be talking a lot of Bucs and Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? We're talking Bucs and Cowboys this morning as well. We got lots of great sound to get to. Micah Parsons saying Tom Brady needs to get the hell out of this league. So we'll play that for you. Todd Bowles on Chris Godwin, whether he's going to play today or on Sunday. We'll hear from him today. Mike Evans also had a nice little press conference yesterday. So we'll get to all the sound, Bucs versus Cowboys. We got a great guest lineup for you as well today, all in the 11 o'clock hour. Scott Carter will join us from FloridaGators.com to relive that huge win by Florida on Saturday night and look ahead to this week's game against Kentucky, a huge SEC game in week 2. We will also talk to Mike Neighbors, who covers the Saints and the Buccaneers. And Mike recently finished a errands run with Jameis Winston that's getting a lot of play on the web. So we're going to play a little bit of that audio for you. And Mike says that Jameis reveals the origin of eating W's. Can't wait for that. So he will join us at 11:15. And then Cowboys insider Tim Ham will join us live from Dallas at 11:30.
And we got to get to it later because yesterday I was telling you he revealed the origins of the human anatomy.
Well, I mean, when Jameis talks human anatomy.
When Jameis talks, you listen.
Oh, yeah.
You listen.
It's interesting. It's always interesting.
It is laugh out loud hilarious what he said yesterday.
Yeah, I think your rhyme was good, but it was probably a little bit too
And
long.
that's an all-time soundbite. An all-time soundbite, which I might dig and find today just to play. Just because.
Or
I have no reason.
Or the rhyme itself.
I have no reason to play it. I just want a good laugh this morning.
Well, we got to save some of our material for week 2. I mean, we could
that's
do
true.
We could do a whole day of just Jameis.
I'll tell you what, and I'll hold myself to it. I'll make a Jameis montage of his greatest sound bites all in one. Check your sheet.
Oh, my God. It'd be too good.
We just got to keep getting better. I got to keep getting better.
Keep getting better. There were so many good moments. So many. Oh, I miss Jameis at the mic. Today we get Tom Brady. Well, we got to really, give it 110% this week. They're really good defense. One of the best we'll play this year. We got to execute, be on the details, no penalties. See, there we go. That's the Brady press conference. I shouldn't say that because his last press conference was very revealing.
Yes.
So I should not cliche bash him just that. So we not take that live. So big show for you here today. And we're going to get to it right away. Got to say, before we get to the Rays, and we got some Rays sound that we're going to play, but just a quick tip of the cap to them last night. Another incredible, scintillating 1-0 win by the Rays in front of 8,900 in a pennant chase, meaningful games in September at the Trop. In fact, we got into a little stadium discussion last night when, of course, Mark Topkin puts out the attendance each and every night, and a lot of people jumped on him, putting like our good fan Rays up, talking about 2 outfield seats at $70, parking at $20, concessions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just ridiculous prices for a midweek game in the middle of a recession. And that's a huge part that you don't get much of a crowd. And of course, the Red Sox are so bad. The Red Sox fans don't want to come, and get told that Boston is our bitch, which, by the way, this just in breaking news, Boston is still our bitch. So it's disappointing, but as we talked about a little bit on Twitter last night, with the RFP process going forward now in St. Petersburg with the new mayor Welsh telling all the bidders that they have to include a stadium in the plan, it looks like he's going full on stadium and going to spend $1 billion to build a stadium in a failed location in a vicinity where people do not go to the games and cannot afford to go to the games with prices like this. It's a terrible idea on so many levels. But if this is what how Stu is going to sucker the city of St. Pete into doing it, he will. So buckle up for this ride. I still think it's going to end up in Tampa because that's where Major League Baseball wants the stadium. They do not want it to be built And as I mentioned, next week is September 14th will be the date of the next hearing, and we'll find out if this lawsuit is going to continue to go to a jury trial on the one count that would have Stu removed as the managing general partner. If this were to actually happen, do you think the media would cover it here locally? If he were actually, I don't know if they would cover it, but we will definitely cover it. All right, so let's get into a little bit of a Buccaneers talk. The news of the day really was Todd Bowles talking about Chris Godwin. This is the big question going into this game. For me, it's not much of a question anymore, especially after what Todd Bowles said yesterday. And as we have mentioned on the show many times this week, it just is not you got to use your depth, right? And you have great depth at the wide receiver position. I mean, if your fallback to Chris Godwin not playing is Julio Jones, who's healthy and ready to go and looks rejuvenated, I think we're good. I mean, if this was, between Chris Godwin and Jalen Darden, then you might think about it a little bit more, but you're healthy. It's all hands are on deck in the wide receiver room. There's really no reason to push Chris Godwin in this situation. So why not give it a couple of weeks, not have him play on turf and bring it back for a natural grass game week 3?
I tell you what, though, DJ had a really good point yesterday when he talked about it's more than just, okay, we'll just insert Julio Jones. We'll just insert Russell Gage, right? It's the blocking that Chris Godwin brings to the equation.
Oh, my God, yes.
And he made a great point that the Bucs are not going to send him out there unless he can do those things 100%. And honestly, I think those might be bigger challenges for him than just, hey, go run routes and be a receiver. I think in some respects you can make that argument, or equally as important, because he is that important to what the Bucs want to do with the screen game as well, to other type of guys, to have him out there blocking. So I think that was a better
football
point.
team with him on the field. There's just no question about it. Even when the fallback is Julio Jones, but how much better? And how much better of a football team will you be if you can have Chris Godwin late in the season? Let's listen to what Todd Bowles said yesterday, and this will give us a little clue to what they're thinking. And of course, on a podcast earlier this week, Chris Godwin said that he wants to be around for the second half of the season, and that the call might be up to him. But here's what Todd Bowles had to say.
No, he still has on an orange jersey. Like I said, until they say something, he's practicing, getting better, and he's confident every day. So we'll see where that goes. When he gets well, no matter when he gets well, until he takes a hit below the waist, which you cannot do in practice. We can bang him around in shoulder pads and do everything we got to do until he gets hit on it from the side or in the front, which we cannot simulate. And then he gets up. I don't care if it's 5 years from now, you're not going to feel any different. It's confidence that you run and catch every day and you can be normal. But until you get down there, no really gonna know. So, we'll see. I don't want him out there before it's time. If it's healthy and he's ready to go and they clear him and everybody feels it's ready to go and it's completely 100%, then you take your shot. Anything less than that, I'd rather him sit. No, he still hasn't.
I think that's the money line right there. Anything less than that, you'll have him sit. And keep in mind, they do a lot of metrics on these injuries, especially with the knee, because they can measure so much with his flexion, the strength of the knee, the stability of the knee. All these things are measured with high-tech instruments. So there's a baseline pre-injury probably, and then a post-injury where you're trying to get back to that level. And anytime you have an elite athlete like a Chris Godwin who's in tremendous shape beforehand, the rehab process is going to be easier and better because of that. And as we all know, his work ethic is crazy good. You throw in stem cells, which are rapidly improving recovery times. This is something that's kind of unprecedented. It's 8 months, just over 8 months since the surgery, and he's out there looking like he's 100% and cutting on it. That's groundbreaking. So even though all the numbers look good and the tests look good, that's still 8 months. 8+ months is really, really fast. So even if it's 13 more days, 20 more days, I think it's a plus.
Yeah, I think it still matters, and I think we would all agree the Bucs can get by this game without having him in there.
Yes,
I mean, the number one test that's going to be in the Bucs' way is going to be the environment, right? It's going to be crazy there on Sunday night with the Cowboys. Tom Brady's coming in. And by the way, we haven't talked about it. Tom Brady's got a perfect record against the Cowboys. a perfect 6-0 in his career. He has never lost to the Cowboys.
Interesting.
So that's going to fire up all those players there. They came very close last year. Was it last year? It was Ryan Suckup, right?
Yeah.
With the game-winning kick. I mean, the Cowboys, they had the Bucs on the ropes.
Had the lead.
They had the lead. And Dak Prescott, we mentioned it, threw 58 times. They didn't need to run the ball. I think you're going to see the same thing. But even with that being said, this is not the same Cowboys team we saw last year that won that division.
Not even close.
And me and you, we think the Bucs, regardless of how maybe other people feel, I think they're a better football team this year. So I think they can get by without this game, without Chris Godwin.
I believe so as well. And you got to look at a season in a 17-game chunk, not a one-game opener. And it's Sunday Night Football, and all the lights are on. And of course, Chris is going to want to be there. But you've got to go with what's best for the long run. And I don't think you can argue that sitting him for a couple more weeks is best for the long run. Hey, he's on my fantasy team as you chose him. We certainly concurred on that. But I'm not starting him this week. I don't think he's playing. No. I don't think he's playing. And in my silly league, you got to sit your starters. 7 games.
Your league is a fraud.
Yeah,
your league is the 2 hours that I was involved with that league.
10. Well, you can only use them 10 times.
I mean,
It makes it much harder than most teams. You could just plug in your players, but every week you got to look and say, should I sit Josh Allen this week because he can't play every week?
Yeah, and the obvious thing here, it's like you're screwed if you try to put him in there and then, hey, it's 7:30, he's inactive.
Right.
Because it's Sunday night and that's what you have. So
you're screwed.
This is an easy call, quick fantasy advice. If you have Chris Godwin and you can afford not to take that chance, don't take that chance.
Don't take that chance. Not at Sunday Night Football unless you have a great option on Monday night.
Yeah.
That's the only time you would do that. By the way, we'll have a fantasy segment tomorrow. With one of the experts from our Dallas DSP media partners. So we'll have plenty of fantasy information tomorrow. And of course, we have our own fantasy expert right here. Mr. Nick Geddes. He's
I'm the quintessential on my couch, scrolling constantly, cooking up trades, just scouring the waiver wire, doing all of that stuff. So I'm very
How many
involved.
teams do you have?
I have my dynasty, which is 4 years strong now. That's number one. And then I have like 3 extra leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I do like a 1 year draft for that. But my dynasty one, that's money involved. That's the one.
Okay. All right. Micah Parsons spoke yesterday at the Star, where I will be this weekend. And he had some blasphemous stuff to say about Tom Brady.
Jokingly, kind of.
Wait till you hear this. He wants him thrown out of the league, suspended.
We gotta get him out this league. He's been dominating this league too long. He keeps coming back. He's like, I might say it to him personally. I was about to say, but I'm not gonna say it out loud. But I mean, man, just going to what he's been able to do over these last couple of years, I think everyone in the league can say, and we voted him number 1 player. It's a blessing to still be able to play him. And this goes to his work ethic and the time he puts in the game that his body can withstand this long, and he can still dominate the way he does. Not many people can do that. So, it's kudos to him, And as long as he can keep competing, I think anybody, as long as your body can stay young and as much as we all love the game, as long as your body can withhold it and you can play, you're going to play.
What do you most appreciate about his game beyond the durability in so many years?
You just see his competitive nature. Like he has that fire inside of him, and he looks to kill you. He wants to step on your throat like you're a roach.
That is a Brady question.
And that's what you look for in competitors. I think that's why, if you're a real competitor, you look up to like Tom Brady, you look up to Kobe, that Mamba mentality, you look up to Michael Jordan. I wouldn't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do. You love those type of mentalities. That Mike Tyson, people love Mike Tyson because how fierce he was. And, you look up to that because we aspire to be that fierce or be that, that strong. You got to be a real strong-minded person to be you are. And for Tom to do that in New England and do it and in the Bucs, he inspires me, even though I'm on defense. When you throw the ball, you like, I'm like Tom. When you throw like Mahomes, he's in that category. So it's somebody,
That's very interesting. I could listen to Micah Parsons talk a lot. In fact, we could probably just continue with that interview. Are there any more questions there?
That was all the Tom Brady ones. I know that.
I wonder how defensive players feel about getting Tom Brady out of the game. I mean, like if you're the guy who ends his career, not necessarily with a dirty hit, but with a hit. Do you wear a scarlet letter,
God, no.
or are you celebrated by secretly celebrated by
you might
everybody
be secretly
else?
under the table, celebrated a little bit.
Like, hey, good job, man. Good way to go. Get that guy out of the league finally. Because Brady has always said that it's going to be a catastrophic injury. Like if he gets an ACL or anything else, it probably that would probably end it. But he's been, and that happened early on in his career. But he's been pretty good since in terms of withstanding. Although he did play with a torn meniscus in the Super Bowl season.
Yeah.
So I mean, his body is really something remarkable. And you could just hear the reverence even from the young players.
Yeah, a young player who, I wrote this yesterday for Outsider.com, and you could say this about so many players in the league, but like Tom Brady, when Michael Parsons was born, Tom Brady was about to be drafted in the NFL. Like he was already a young adult and was entering, I think, his senior season at Michigan when Michael Parsons was born. And here they are all these years later, and Brady's 45. And he's, as Micah Parsons voted him as the best player in the league. And now Micah Parsons you can make a case already, might be the best in the league at his position. And here they go, a second crack at Tom Brady, maybe the last time he'll ever play Tom Brady, who knows, for these younger players. And I'm sure the ones that play alongside him on this team feel the exact same way, just how revered he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And we, here we sit just a couple of days from this season opener, and, it's historic. I know we've been, leading up to this, and we talk about Brady every day, and it's been a long
rocky ride
and sordid road to opening night, Sunday Night Football. I mean, do we need to go back and relive some of the trials and tribulations of Tom Brady for the last 6 months? I mean, it's been incredible. And here we are a few nights away, and the Bucs are in terrific position to challenge for a Super Bowl. I mean, how many times have we been able to say that in the history of this franchise? And for real.
And really this year, I'm going to take it all in more so than last 2 years, because we are fairly certain this is it.
Yeah, this is it. This has to be.
We don't know what this roster
or he's definitely divorced.
Yeah. we don't know what this team's going to look like next year. We have no idea who's going to be quarterbacking this team next year.
It's total rebuild.
It might be a total rebuild. Yeah. So, and I don't want to see the Bucs go back to being what they were for the previous 15 years by any means. But if this is it, take it all in.
Yeah, every moment is special. Every moment is special. Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys at the Star. At AT&T. This is going to be tremendous. I'm blessed to be able to go to this game, and because it's history. It's history. It's the start of his final season, and it's
against America's team.
America's team, Sunday Night Football.
The NFL hit this out of the park. Yeah. By putting this matchup for the second straight year on week 1.
Yeah, I love it. And the stars, the stars of the stars. Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, not Chris Conlon, Julio Jones. Levante David, Devin White. Vita Vea. We just keep going down the Ezekiel Elliott. We just go down the list. It's stars on the helmet, stars on the field, stars everywhere. It's going to be fun. Get your popcorn ready. We as Buccaneer fans, let's not miss the moment. Let's not miss the moment and talk about, is he coming back next year? Or are we going to rebuild? None of that. It's all about this season. It's all about, if Brady had announced this was his final year, if he had announced that, can you imagine the even more fanfare? This is it. We know this is it.
I'm almost happy he didn't say that. I'd rather it just be open. I'd rather us just kind of know in our head, this is likely it. I don't want the pomp and circumstance. I want to just focus in on this season and not get my hopes down.
We don't need a farewell.
I don't need anything. I don't think he wants that.
Oh no, of course not. Or he would have announced it or what have you. But this is, don't miss the moment. Don't miss the moment. You want to play that Donovan Smith there? Yeah. Donovan Smith talking about his new line mates. Obviously his booby, as you might say, his security blanket.
Be right next to him.
Ali Marpet is down to 220 pounds, I'm told, and not coming back anytime soon. And he and Donovan were linked at the hip since
drafted
day.
Together. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all new for him, and he's got a new bubby. It's Luke Gedeke, and he's a big kid. He's a big old kid, but he's still a kid. Here's Donovan Smith.
He's very smart. He's somebody who You know, he's in the film room early. He's in the film room after. You know, so he definitely puts the time in. You know, I'm more excited just to see how he get out there and get going. You know, I'm just happy with how physical he plays. He definitely brings that to the team, which is huge. And you know, I'm really excited. He's more than capable of getting the job done, and I'm rooting for him, obviously, and we're gonna get it done. So, you know, nothing to worry about there. Yeah, he's very gritty. You know, it's kind of one of those things you could kind of like make sure I say it right. You can antagonize him a little bit. Hey, look, I heard you were soft. Oh, really? And then he'll turn it on. So, you know, it's good. That's what you need. You know, playing offensive line, I firmly believe that, you know, you got to have guys who are, you know, great men off the field, but dirty dogs on the field. And, you know, that's what we pride ourselves on. So, you know, he brings that.
He's a dirty dog. He's a dirty dog.
Glass eater.
He's a glass eater. You know, when I first saw his first interview, I kind of chuckled, you know, because he's kind of a what's the word? Cherubic.
I'm gonna need a dictionary on that
type
one.
face, you know, which means soft and, you know, pudgy type. He looks like such a nice little boy. You just want to grab his cheeks, right? Good boy. But he's got a mean streak, bro. And I saw that firsthand in that joint practice with the Dolphins. He was flat getting after it, and he was trying to I don't know if he was trying to start a fight, but he was making sure that guy knew that he was going for a ride for about 10, 15 yards, and at the end, he's going to get a little more to finish it off. And he did it twice in a row, and that started the mini melee against the Dolphins. So, yeah, the kid's got a mean streak. That doesn't make you a good player, but it does tell you he's got the mentality to be really, really good. I've never met a good offensive lineman that didn't have that mentality. You know, even Tristan Wirfs and Donovan's the same way. You know, they seem like really nice guys, right? Really, really fun, nice, easygoing guys. But when they get on the field, the switch flips. No question about it. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the Rays last night. Another 1-0 win. The offense was not good against the Red Sox, but they get the sweep. Now 19 games over 500, firmly in control of the wild card. The freaking Yankees come back and win 2 and sweep the Twins. I didn't see the specifics of the game, but you were telling me the Twins had the lead in both games.
Yeah, the Twins did not do any favors for the Rays this week against the Yankees. No favors at all.
Rocco, come on, man. Come on. So still, 4.5 behind the Yankees as we head into the Bronx this weekend. And, hey, breaking news. Guess who's going to be in the Bronx?
Who's going to be in the Bronx?
Wander Franco.
Wander Franco's coming back.
Wander Franco's coming back after a nice little stint in Durham. Interesting that earlier in the week he felt pain. And then, you know, we talked about this, you know, those type of injuries, you get a lot of scar tissue and there's going to be pain until you kind of rip through that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably what he did this week. He had to get through that scar tissue and looks like he did. He's swinging free. And, you know, here's a team that's won 8 of 9 now, 19 of 24. And I guess you throw him right back in there. Like he starts every game this weekend, does he not? Or does he?
Maybe 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Maybe you ease him in there. You brought up that stat right there. Was it 19 of 24?
Yeah.
And of that, by the way, 4 of the 5 losses were by 1 run. So look how close they are from being on like a 25-game win streak.
I think I saw their team ERA in August was like 2.13 or something. The WHIP was like 0.95 for the entire starting staff. I mean, just ridiculous pitching numbers from the Rays. Still concerned about the offense. They only scored 1 last night, and that was courtesy of Taylor Wall's opposite way chopper on the infield, which was, you know, Taylor tried to score on a pass ball a little bit later on from second and almost got there, but did not. Another critical out on the base, but he did get the only RBI of the game, and here it is. Taylor Walls. Go Knowles.
3-2 now. And a little tap, and that ball hit directly toward the second base umpire.
Great job.
And the Rays are going to get a run. By the time Hernandez could get over there, there was no place to go. And the Rays are on the board. So,
yeah, they were shifted partially. And Taylor just took a little half swing, knocked it to the left side, gave himself up to get the run in, And that's what you love to see that. That's great. Manufacturing of a run. Mejia had doubled to lead off the inning, so that was and they get a run. That's all they needed.
And here's the thing, like you said, like concern for the offense. I don't see it that way. I mean, I think the Rays have found a perfect balance to where if they score 1 run or 2 runs, it always feels like right now the pitching's giving up a run less, or 2 runs less, and it's working out well. And then there are games where the Rays just kind of explode for 15 hits and 8 runs like they did the night before against the Red Sox.
Yeah,
I
did
think
have 13 hits.
I think when you look at the lineup from top to bottom, there's just not too many guys in there outside of G-Man Choi, I'd say, who aren't clicking on all cylinders right now. And you're adding Wander Franco to that.
You know, it's last night it looked like they were facing a better pitcher, certainly one that was on his game. And I didn't like a lot of the swings. It just didn't.
It wasn't their best showing.
No, it wasn't their best showing. But again, they got the pitching. And what a story that was last night. Yonny Chirinos gets his first win in over 1,100 days. Over almost 2.5 years since he's pitched in the big leagues, multiple elbow surgeries, multiple rehabs. I mean, can you imagine rehabbing for 2.5 years? And there have been a couple times when he gets close to coming back and then he gets a setback. I mean, you got to at some point just be thinking, Jesus, I mean, is this really going to happen?
That's what I was thinking yesterday. I was like, man, like we talk about, the physical aspect of going through rehab, but let's not forget he had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
And then I believe he fractured his elbow or his forearm or something
like that,
trying to come back. At what point did Yonny Chirinos, wherever he was rehabbing, go, man, do I still want to do this?
Yeah.
Like we have to think that goes through your mind mentally, And even like a month ago, we talked about it. He debuted, he made his first rehab start with the Charleston River Dogs.
Right.
And he wasn't even throwing 90 yet, and it wasn't pretty at all. And that was like a month ago.
Yeah.
And to see him back on a major league mound and go 3 shutout innings.
Wow. What a story. What a story.
Yeah, and we forget before he was here, before he had the injuries, the best word I could describe, he's steady. He was so steady.
Yeah.
Just a constant presence there.
Not like crazy good stuff, not overpowering, but just good.
Yeah.
Just really good. And he was really good last night. This is his first K after, what does this feel like after 2.5 years?
And the hop off the mound.
Yeah.
And he got him. He strikes him out. Bottom fell out of that pitch, and he was out in front. 2 men left, no score, middle of the 4th.
Yeah, and little point to the sky. I mean, it's got to be tough. I mean, it is your job to rehab. It's not like, if I quit baseball, I got to go drive an Uber.
It's definitely mentally, it's probably more, even just as challenging as physical.
It's frustrating, It's got to be. And for him to get back and play such a critical role in a game like this, man, that was a big deal. Here's Kevin Cash after the game talking about Chirinos and other things after the big 1-0 win.
Start with the pitching in this one specifically. Yonny Chirinos, certainly a highlight, goes out there after 2 years away from a major league mound, 3 innings of shutout baseball. Just what type of mental toughness does it take to go through that and then deliver?
I can't even explain it, but I know it was really cool for all of us in the dugout. So appreciative of Yonny and the work ethic that he's put in and how he's dealt with adversity. So we kind of had it in the back of our mind that we were trying to give Springsy a short start. Rhett Rasmussen kind of messed that up a little bit. So, but it did work out where Yonny got in there. Springsy looked great, and then Yonny picked up. And, the strike throwing, the stuff, we saw a little tick up in the stuff, but the strike throwing was really encouraging. He had to make some big pitches because there were a couple first and second situations.
I was going to say, was that the most encouraging part, just seeing him go in there and make big pitches in those situations his first game back?
Yeah, I mean, he got into some pretty high leverage. You're talking about a 0-0, 1-0 ball game. So, there wasn't too much room for error.
And then Pete Fairbanks and Jason Adam going in there. Jason getting out of a bit of a jam. Just what did you see from them in the job there?
Yeah, I mean, look, Jason's been so good for us, and he had a little hiccup with his command, gave up a hit, then had a hiccup with his command, but kind of took a deep breath and really came back and made some good pitches to some really good hitters to keep it. I mean, you got to be close to perfect when you win a game 1-0. Felt like that we were.
Before the game, that it had been tough on you guys at times, and Frankie's big hit there to kind of get the first hit going.
Yeah,
right up.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got his pitch count up, but we couldn't get anything to show for it. But he's good. I mean, he knows what he's doing out there. He can really spin the ball. Frankie got it going, and then Taylor Walls, that was a tremendous at bat to go down 0-2. He was ready to hit the 0-0 pitch. It just kind of fastball by him, but he hung in there and was able to make some contact at the 3-2 pitch.
And as usual, good defense. There was one play where
he was awesome.
Sliding across there. And the reports from Durham last night look like that all went well.
Yeah, I heard 19 pitches, 2 punch outs, 97, 98, 99. So good for him.
When you see Yanni get out of that first inning, kind of hops off the mound a little bit.
Yeah.
To see his excitement to be back out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's genuine, authentic emotion, like for himself, and he's earned it. And you know, him, our trainers, certainly Paul Harker, the guys that have been around every step of the way. That's 2 years, a long time.
Wasn't a hit necessarily, but to see that long fly up by Choi to the wall, move the runner over, is that encouraging?
Very encouraging. Got himself. Look, he walked, and then he got into a 2-0 count, and you know he had one job to do there, and he did it. Just missed it, pull side a little bit more. He's got a home run, but he was ready 2-0. I think he got a slider that he was able to get deep enough to get Frankie over to third.
You mentioned Yanni's stuff. I think he had the sinker to Arroyo for the strikeout. That looked pretty classic Yanni there.
Yeah, I mean, he did. I was asking Kyle, it's like, has he changed anything? Is any different? And he said, no, it's basically the same stuff. He threw some really good sliders. I think his best sliders of his rehab were today compared to his rehab. But you would kind of expect that in a big league game against the Red Sox.
Everybody good? Just one more thing. Sweep the Red Sox. You've had to feel pretty good going into New York now.
Yeah, good to go into an off day. And we know what's ahead of us with New York. We just played them. They're very, very good, and we got to play good baseball.
Kevin Cash, courtesy of Bally Sports Sun right there. Yeah, that pretty much encapsulated the game last night. So this just came down, which I think is very interesting. After us bitching about ticket prices for so long, the Rays are going to do a postseason promotion.
Yeah.
A chase for the postseason promotion. What do we got?
I have the full details in front of me. Up to 40% off tickets, concessions, and parking during the final homestand. So that covers 10 games against the Rangers, September 16th to 18th, the Astros, the 19th to the 21st, and the Blue Jays, the 22nd to the 25th. So here's the deals. Tickets start at $9 with discounts varying by seat location. Concessions will be discounted, $2 chips, $3 bottled Coca-Cola products, candy and Cracker Jacks, $4 hot dogs and peanuts, and $5 nachos. And parking has also been discounted 40% off, and select lots will begin at just $12.
Wow, what a concept. What a concept. And again, people are like, oh, Rays announced a promotion, and then Rays Twitter complains about it. No, they're not complaining about it. They're simply saying it's about effing time.
Yeah.
You don't get credit for doing what you should have been doing all along. Sorry, you don't. This just points out the error of your ways. But thanks for doing it.
This has me.
Now it's gonna be packed. You watch.
Yeah, this has me fired up a little bit.
Okay, it has me fired up.
Here's why.
You think the players are fired up?
Here's
hey, Stu,
why.
you think we could bring some prices down and maybe get some full houses in here for the final home?
No, here's
stand?
why. Because there's been a lot of fans complaining about ticket prices and calling it out, and then there's a section of Rays fans that will come back and say, "Well, I don't want to hear that excuse. It's not an excuse," you know. And I think I'm seeing already.
I don't have the money.
I'm seeing
between
people
rent or tickets.
I'm seeing people already being kind of arrogant about it, being like, "Well, that excuse doesn't fly now because here are the Rays." But what's the reason why the Rays are doing this?
Because everybody's bitching about it, and we've made it a national story.
Thank
That's
you.
why.
That's why they're doing.
We're bitching about it. Sorry.
So don't
we're
come
bitching.
here.
We're the only show that's bitching about it. I can assure you.
Don't come
of that.
here. Don't come here and tell me that this excuse doesn't fly now, that the tickets are too expensive, when they're doing it into response to the fans complaining about it,
right,
and raising up for it. Is that
but
any
this
coincidence?
Isn't something they didn't know. They did it last year. They did the $10 tickets
because
and
people were
happened?
complaining about it.
Yeah,
last
and what
year.
happened?
20,000 every night.
Of course, the attendance went up by twice.
Yes. So while this is fantastic, and I love the fact that we're going to have a nice crowd. I mean, there's some big series here against the Astros and the Blue Jays. That's as meaningful as it gets in September, right?
It's like the tweet I put out last night. These ridiculous prices, and Stu doesn't care. Stu doesn't want to give his own team a home field advantage. I mean, how stupid is that? And do you think the players are happy about that? No. And I want the player, and I hope the players know that it's not the fans; it's their damn owner. Your owner has priced your fans out of the game for most of these big series.
Yeah, and last night I was watching that game, and I put it out on Twitter. It was just depressing.
Yes,
it just depressed
and it
me.
doesn't have to be that way.
No, like I don't mean to be.
You think Stu finally saw it on TV and went, okay, I'm sure. I guarantee you this, and I can find out for sure because I know somebody in the marketing department. One of the two people in the marketing department. The marketing department has had this ready to go all season long. I guarantee you. They've had all this stuff lined up and said, hey, let us do it. And Stu's like, no, we're not doing it. We're going to soak these people, blah, 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 blah. We're going to get as much as we can from Yankee fans, Red Sox fans, Cardinals fans. All these teams are coming in. We're not cutting price. They want to come see it. They can pay for the top dollar. And then you get 9,000 on a Wednesday night in a pennant race game. And it's not fair to your players. And I've been saying this for a long, long time. And now you watch this final 3 series. I guarantee you we have 20,000 every single night.
Like we did last year.
Yes, exactly. Every single night. But why can't we do this all year long? Because then Stu can't bitch and moan about, nobody comes to the games. If people, we've been talking about this for so long, but I feel like 90% of the market still doesn't know about it. They still don't know about it. But, credit the Rays for finally doing what they should have been doing all year. Yay. Good for you. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into a little bit more Bucs sound. We'll hear from Mike Evans. We'll talk a little college football as well. Scott Carter is going to join us at 11 o'clock for our Gator Reports that we do each and every Thursday. Lots more show coming your way. Brought to you by Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. You can find them at emerginginv.com. Back in a moment.
Let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-NOW2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-BET-NOW2. JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our first hour by Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior, or a criminal matter? Well, if you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigation is a slam dunk. They are licensed, insured private investigation agency, family-owned and operated. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get the needed results. By the way, D'Antonio is going to be on our show tomorrow and tell you a little bit about what they do over there and how they do it. Very interesting stuff. So remember, many local attorneys, insurance agencies, and your neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT, 813-291-FACT, and call Rachel or Brian, and they'll take you through the entire process, tell you how it works. It's a free call. So if you just have some thoughts like, I think this, I think that, what would it cost? What would you do? How would you do it? They'll answer all those questions really, really easy. So just give them a call. Tell them you heard it on the JP program. It's 813-291-FACT. All right. A little bit more on this Rays promotion. I think this is a really, really big deal. And I'm glad they did it. And the response from Twitter has been very, very interesting. Read a couple of these tweets. Here's the whole promotion that you read. This is from our friend. I can read this. Zach Blobner, my buddy over at 620. Rock the Trop. Many fans use pricing as a frustration, keeping them out of St. Pete. That excuse doesn't fly here. Massive deals to help make it easier financially to see the Rays before the playoffs raise up. Yeah, they complain because it's hard in a recession to pay $75 for an outfield seat. Nobody's going to do that, Zach. It's not, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. And if you continue to price like this, you're not going to get fans. So this just proves that the fans were right. And by the way, this is what 80% of the league does. Every other team in baseball are offering these type of ticket specials, and they do it all year round. It's not just for this. So, congrats.
A lot of other people pointing out that conveniently this came down after the Yankees and Red Sox left town.
Right.
I know a lot of people are going to complain about that. Make of that what you will. I tend to think that maybe this was done in response to the fans complaining, and it went pretty big last night, I thought. There was a lot of people taking screenshots of the process to buy tickets for last night's game and then adding everything together.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing. It's a real thing. I mean, I've always said, if I really want to go to the game and I'm really invested, like for that Yankee series, like I will go to that. Like I've always said that. But during the week, there's already nobody there in the building to begin with. I've just never understood why you're going to price it that high when you're getting 8,000 people. And maybe that was
here's the reason.
And maybe that was a wake-up call. I don't know. They see the Red Sox are in town, and this is supposed to be a draw, a premium game, and there's nobody there.
Well, how's it a wake-up? Like, how stupid do you have to be? People aren't going to show up at these prices.
I don't know.
I mean, yes, his whole strategy is to soak the Red Sox and Yankee fans for high ticket price. Doesn't care that he's pricing his own fans out of the building. Doesn't care because he's already got his TV money that was given to him up front for the next 10 years, according to the lawsuit. $375 million. So yeah, he's got his money. So he doesn't want to spend more money staffing the place. He just takes his TV money. And what does that do? It frustrates the fan base. Doesn't care about that. It's not fair to your players because you don't create a home field advantage. And I guarantee you, everybody in the organization is saying, come on, we want fans here. We want this
every
to
player
be
wants it, man.
The players want it. I guarantee you, everybody in the organization wants it, but he doesn't.
That's why I said yesterday on Twitter, I was just watching the game, and I'm like, I'm so over just seeing just empty blue seats in the background of every single shot of that stadium. I mean, I'm watching Pete Fairbanks go out there and what does he have, 18 consecutive innings without giving up a run?
Yep.
He's doing it in front of nobody at home. All right. This team is playing an enjoyable brand of baseball. They've been the best team in baseball over the past month, like we mentioned earlier.
Right.
And to have 8,000 people in a ballpark against the Red Sox in a playoff hunt, it's depressing, regardless of what the issues are. And we all know them. We don't have to go down the rabbit hole today. It's just depressing. I'm so over it at this point. I really am.
Well, I am too, and I'm glad they finally did something.
But I'm glad that they're going to have 20,000 plus, I'm assuming, for all these games because it worked out perfectly last year. It worked out when they did the flash sale earlier in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I do appreciate those things. All I ask, it's can we meet in the middle a little bit? I don't expect you to sell tickets to run your business like this. 162. Maybe I shouldn't expect that, but I should expect you to kind of meet in the middle of what you're doing now and what you're going to be doing for the next 10 days, if that makes sense. If we can find a happy medium in there,
Yes.
I think that would work a lot better.
Well, again, every other team in Major League Baseball is doing this except the Rays. I think 80% of the other teams have these lower ticket prices and family specials, etc. Some comments on our YouTube page and Facebook as well. If you're watching us there, you can always comment that, and we'll put your comments up on the screen. This is from Richie P. Regarding the Trop Midtown, the Miami Development Group said they are not resubmitting a plan for the RFP for St. Pete. Don't know how to take that, but it's in unrelated news. Dade County has a major project next to the Heat Arena up for bidding. Yeah, these RFPs, these other companies have spent millions of dollars doing these RFPs, and Mayor Welch comes in and just throws them out and says, "Let's start over," and every one of them has to have a stadium. I'm sorry, Mayor, but that is so misguided. Once again, the Rays are just playing you and moving and delaying the development of the Trop once again. And Mayor Welch will learn what all the other mayors learned, that the Rays do not bargain in good faith. They will tell you one thing and do another, and they're never going to follow through with anything they've done. It's the same old stuff. Another one from Richie P. Again, the longer Stu sits on the throne, figuratively or literally, St. Pete constituents get screwed. That's the bottom line. From Luke W., nice to see discounted deals for Trop for these 3 series. Absolutely. And do you have any more about the tickets?
He said for $40 ticket, at least give me a draft beer or 2, like the White Sox bleacher promo.
Right.
Exactly. At the moment, no, you're having to pay about $14.50, I think, for a beer at the Trop.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there you go.
And Jeremy Lowe says, "How about Glasnow pitching last night?" Yeah, a couple of strikeouts.
He looked
really
damn good.
Yeah, looked really good. His velocity is there, and I think he got it up to 99.
Yep.
All he needs to do is build up and get ready to come join the staff. What a nice shot in the arm that's going to be. However you can use him. I mean, geez. I mean, he's to be a hell of a closer. He'd be a hell of a closer. I mean, talk about swing and miss and strikeout stuff.
Again, not a bad problem to have. It's just
Yeah.
I'm looking at like the Rays like pitching arms right now, and I'm just like, who's the odd man out?
Like, who do you
who do you get rid of right now? I mean, Kevin Cash has got a dilemma on his hands, and Eric Neander of who's going down, who's going up, who's making this playoff roster. I mean, Yanni Trinos. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of, not that I forgot about Yanni Trinos, but it wasn't really on my radar. We've talked so much about Wander Franco, Tyler Glasnow. In fact, when he came up, I was like, oh, Yanni Trinos is here, and then he's on the mound. It's like, oh, Yanni Trinos is back, right? Then he goes 3 innings, so he's in the Rays' plans.
Right.
So if he keeps this up, he's going to be on the playoff roster because he was one of your main pieces for the injuries. So it's just like there's so many moving parts right now with the Rays. And Shane McClanahan, by the way, I think they said we got a good update on him. He has one more bullpen left to throw, and then he should be good to rejoin the team the following week. So he's coming back. I mean, embarrassment of riches the Rays have.
Yeah, this is why this is so good. So now we can have 3 series, and these, by the way, on the road at the Yankees, and then 5 in Toronto, which we may have a depletion of the roster there vis-a-vis vaccine issues.
We'll cross that bridge when we get
I'm not
to
sure.
it. But
well, we went up there earlier. There's got to be a list of guys, and I doubt
things might have changed now. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, you mean in Canada?
No. With the players.
No.
I don't know. I'm not worried about that right now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. So, look, isn't it fun though that now you can go to the ballpark and it's not going to cost you a second mortgage, and we can have a full house, and we can cheer, and we can stop talking about attendance numbers and how ridiculous the ticket prices are. And I'm sorry, Zach, I love you to death, brother, but if you're ripping these fans because the prices are too high, while you guys get free tickets all the time, go get sit in the luxury box. I love you, brother, but that doesn't come off too well. And the prices are ridiculous, especially in a recession.
Yeah, and Jordan Gamillion chimed in here. He said, I scored tickets for this coming series in the Bronx for $7 total.
There you go.
It's time for Manfred to step in on the Rays and take over operations.
Absolutely. I've been calling for this for years. And they did it. They did it before with Vince Namoli. They brought somebody in because the guy was running the franchise into the ground. So why don't they do it again, especially with this litigation that's out there? And I guarantee you, folks, if next week, if the Rays lose that appeal to have this, and it's likely they will lose the appeal unless something crooked goes on with the judge, because as far as the legal people have told me, there's nothing material more that they've brought to the table that they didn't argue the first time of any consequence where the judge ruled against them. So if this goes to a jury trial, that one count to have him removed as general partner, he'll be removed as general partner before that happens, because the baseball will not go through that discovery process.
Which I'm trying to do an exercise here. Let's see how quick I can do it of what these tickets are going to look like. I've picked a Monday night game against the Astros, the best team in the American League, by the way.
Okay.
It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Live on the air, we're going to buy some tickets right here. Looks like Nick's big spender. He's going to jump in there.
Big spender.
So what are the? So there's $9 tickets, 40% off concessions,
40% off concessions, and 40% off parking.
40% off parking. This is the Schooner, the Friendly Tuna. If you remember that.
No, I don't.
It's from a great Michael Keaton.
All right, let's see.
Mr. Mom.
Let's see what we're looking at here.
Let's
scroll all the way down.
220.
Okay, so as expected, the $9 are going to be in the party deck, which we would expect.
That's fine.
$14.40 to sit in the outfield.
$14.40.
$14.40.
There you go.
To sit in the.
There you go.
To sit in some of the 200 level tickets, which I think that's my favorite spot to sit in when I go usually. To sit in those sections, $16.20.
There you go. Is this so hard? Is this so hard?
To me, you can't beat this in my opinion. The 200 level right here next to the press box, so you're basically right behind home plate.
Listen,
$25.
If we don't have
$25
close to 20,000 every night.
Yeah.
Every night, then I'll rip the fans.
Yes.
Then I'll rip the fans.
I'll change my tune. See, this is perfectly priced. If you want to sit literally, let me get to it. Section 106.
That's
106 is almost adjacent behind the home plate. It's $48. That's
fair.
a steal to sit right behind home plate.
Yeah, and the second level, that's fair.
No, that's the first level. $48 sit right down here in the first level.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's a good price.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, you got it. You have to make it. Don't forget, this is a very depressed market in terms of median income. You should have lower ticket price. You should have the lowest ticket prices in baseball.
Knowing myself, though, I will probably be buying these Rays Club tickets because
those are great tickets.
This is a cheap price for the Rays Club.
Yeah.
$115.
You don't mind paying $16 for a warm Michelob Ultra if you're paying $16.
No, look at that. If I pay $115 to sit in the Rays Club,
oh my God,
and get everything that goes along with that,
they're going to have to staff. They're going to have to pay these people minimum wage. They're going to have to really ramp it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So good exercise there.
Well done. Well done. There you go. Let's see if getting prices that every other team is asking for.
And now it goes on the fans, though. We've been ripping everything else.
Absolutely.
It's on the fans now.
100%.
If you love this team, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, I know you're watching on TV. I see the ratings. I know you're listening to Dave and Andy on the radio, who are fantastic. I know you are. Get to the ballpark. There's no excuses for these games. There's no excuses. If I see a house of like 10,000 on a Monday night against the Astros, we're going to come on that Tuesday, and we won't have nice things to say about the fan base. At least I won't.
Not at all. I totally agree. 100%. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will chat with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. It's our Gator Report that we do each and every Thursday, and we'll talk about last week's big win and look ahead to this key SEC showdown with Kentucky. Stay with us.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by, in our second area, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They get $100 off their weight loss programs right now. Great time to lean up with the latest technology and methods. It's Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. It's our Gator Report, brought to you by Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves, big Florida Gator fan. You can reach them at JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES. What's up, Scott Carter? How are you? Got a big smile on your face after that big win
Well,
Saturday night. That was impressive. And I just watching it from New Orleans on the big screen, boy, you could just feel the electricity in that crowd. What was that atmosphere like?
well, there hasn't been many like that, JP, in a long time, man. That's as good as I've seen the Swamp probably since I've been here in this role for 12 years. And, it was like good old fashioned what we remember, Florida being back in the 90s and early 2000s and through the Tebow years. I mean, it was like that. And we got a great game, too. I mean, it was really an entertaining game. Florida got down 4 different times in that game and came back each time. And, it all started with Anthony Richardson, obviously, what he was able to do. So, overall, Billy Napier could not ask for much more from his debut at Florida.
Yeah, let's dig in a little bit on Anthony Richardson. There was a lot of people bringing up the name of Dan Mullen on Twitter during the game and after. Like, how could you sit this guy on the bench? And I know last year he had some issues, but I mean, his talent is just off the freaking charts. When I was watching some of the NFL shows this in the offseason, they're talking about this coming year's draft, and they're talking about Anthony Richardson as a possible top 5. I'm like, come on, seriously? Okay. Now we know he's got the talent, but he showed how he can will his team to a victory. That was pretty freaking incredible.
No, and I was right there with you, JP, on the kind of projections. Let's see him play a little bit. We've all seen the talent, we've all seen the arm strength, we've all seen the athleticism, but you just don't know until a guy's thrown in there against a team like Utah and to see how he responds. And I thought it was kind of a twofold performance. I thought Billy Napier and staff, I thought they did a great job of calling that game to put Anthony in good position to make plays that he's comfortable with, where his athleticism could take over and his decision-making could take over. And we saw that time and again when the play had to be made, he made it. I mean, I thought the play that everybody's talking about still is the 2-point conversion throw where he jumped, pump faked in the air and then spun and, throws a strike in the corner of the end zone. I mean, there's probably one quarterback in the country who can do that, and that's Anthony Richardson right now. And the amazing thing is, talking to his teammates this week, they said they actually saw him do it in practice about a month ago. So I guess, they weren't as surprised as maybe the rest of us. But, I mean, he's a game changer. I mean, 4th and 2 there on that last go-ahead drive. Yep. Again, it's a critical situation. He faced pressure right away and just made it look easy, getting about 9 yards. And not a lot of guys can do that. So that's why Gator fans and certainly Billy Napier is so excited about Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, and it wasn't just obviously Richardson, but I thought what was really impressive was just there seemed to be just a different attitude, a different fight level by this Florida Gator team. I mean, people had talked about the team kind of quitting on Mullen last year, but you could see a renewed vigorous attitude on this team. I thought, especially defensively. You've been around the team for a few months and with Napier as well. It seems like he's changed the culture pretty damn quick.
Yeah, it's a total reboot, JP. I mean, he's installed some discipline. It just kind of, he said, he gave a little insight the other day after the game. He said he hadn't said this publicly, but this Florida team, he learned real fast that these guys have a lot of fight in them. And he said he knew a coach who had previously worked here at Florida. And when he got the job here, he was talking to that coach. He says, and the other coach has been around. He says, I've never met, any more competitive kids than the Florida guys. And so I think you start off with that foundation, JP. You had some good coaching there and some discipline, and then suddenly you've got something to build with. And I think that's where he is with the program right now. He's a large part of that, obviously, creating that culture, rejuvenating some things, but also he's got a great quarterback to start with.
Yeah, that certainly helps.
Yeah, and defensively, last week we talked a little bit about, the return of Ventrell Miller and what he was going to mean for this defense, and there he was in the middle, and he popped to me. He almost had the pick at the end, which almost sealed it, and thank God, they came back and were able to make up for it. But do you feel like the defense, week 1, it was against a really good Utah team, which last time we saw them, they pushed Ohio State around in the Rose Bowl. And I thought Florida did pretty well and held their own, obviously. You think they've taken almost a new identity under the co-defensive coordinators and Ventrell Miller being back in there?
Yeah, I mean, having Ventrell back, you just can't underestimate what that means to that team or that unit, just more than anything else for the knowledge of the middle linebacker as the communicator. He's the glue guy back there, but he also had 9 tackles, and I think he needs to work on the jugs machine this week, to make sure he can catch the next one that comes his way. But, you can't, Ventrell, that's what they missed last year, and it showed. And then you do have a new coaching staff, a new system, and I think they've just tightened that up a lot on that side of the ball. I mean, they gave up 446 yards, so, I mean, they didn't lock down Utah by any means, but they made some plays when they had to, and obviously they made the biggest play of the game when they had to, and that was the Amari Burney interception. That's what the Gators have missed in recent years, being able to come up with that big turnover, that big stop, and they had the earlier goal line stand too. So I think overall, considering the question marks on that side of the ball, I think they definitely passed the test, and now they got to do it again against Kentucky,
Scott Carter joining us here from FloridaGators.com, and let's look ahead to that now. Kentucky comes off that win over Miami, not super impressive of Ohio. But this is a team that's beaten Florida twice in a row now, 2013 last year.
Two of the last four. Yeah.
Two of the last four. So Mark Stoops has been there now 10 years. So they've had some stability. Will Levis, a quarterback, threw for 303 yards last week. He's one of those outside All-American candidates. He obviously is an extremely aggressive athlete, playing the quarterback position. What do you think about this game in terms of how key it is certainly to their SEC hopes?
Well, the Gators got a lot of momentum, with that win over Utah. They go from unranked to number 12.
Wow.
And now there's suddenly Anthony Richardson was, like I said, his stature has been elevated. So now a lot of eyes are on Florida after they were kind of under the radar. And that's been Billy Napier's messaging all week. Look, guys, this is great. This is what you want. This is what, you play here for these moments and these games. But let's see how we react to now being patted on the back a little bit. So I think that's the question mark around this team going into Kentucky. I do think in terms of just matchup, this Kentucky team and Mark Stoops has done a great job. Will Levis is a big-time quarterback. They're missing some real pieces in the backfield with Chris Rodriguez Jr. Obviously, Wan'Dale Robinson, the great receiver they had last year, is gone. The offensive line, I don't think, is strong. So I think this is a chance for Florida to maybe, take another step. They can have a chance here to show that they can handle some success. So I think that's going to be the big question mark, just how these guys handle success. Because I think on paper, I do think the Gators should win this one, but we'll see.
We shall see. Yeah, Kentucky beat Florida last year, 2013. Kentucky beat Miami of Ohio last week, 37-13. Get this right. And they kind of pulled away in the second half. But Levis was sacked 4 times, which leads me to believe that, like you said, this Kentucky offensive line is not that great. Depleted at running back now, so they're going to have to throw the football. This seems to be playing into the Gators' hands, especially since they got him at home. Now, that was 7th-ranked Utah and had the whole offseason for the fans to get ready for this one. They showed up big time. I would expect nothing less this week, right? Still going to be a packed house, and especially with this renewed energy, right?
Yeah, that was Billy Napier. He stepped to the podium last night, JP, and the first thing he said, he wanted to thank the fans because the game is an official sellout now. So, nice. that's a nice response from the fans. And, Napier's been almost talking to them directly sometimes during his press conferences, as he knows that, one of the advantages that you have at Florida is that environment when it's like it was against Utah. And I've seen so many people in Utah, just comment this week on the environment and how it's something they'd never experienced before. So that's what partly makes the Gators unique, and now we'll see if they can use it to their advantage again.
All right. Any injuries for Florida this week that you know of that are of import?
The biggest one is Russ Ortiz, the long snapper. You say long snapper, but actually it's an important position. Yes, so, he's a guy that's really established himself there. So he's going to be out. But otherwise, they came out, pretty healthy, and it's always a big thing, man. I like those bubbles, man. Hopefully,
we're getting shot by our studio crew here. The bubbles. This is for celebrating champagne here in tiny bubbles for the big Florida win and hoping to go 2-0. Look at this.
Right,
we've got props on this just for you, Scott.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We're having celebrations. All right. Well, Scotty, great stuff as always. Promote what you got going on FloridaGators.com. Right there.
It's all about the Kentucky-Florida matchup and just kind of the Gators' hot momentum right now. So cover that game and have some more on Anthony Richardson this weekend on FloridaGators.com.
Good stuff. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. We'll chat with you next week hopefully after a big win over Kentucky. Many thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
The Gator Report brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Personal injury, personal attention. That's Jeeves Law Group, bringing to you our Gator Report. Scott's a huge Gator fan. He was at that game, and I guarantee you he'll be at this Kentucky game as well. All right, quick break. When we come back, Mike Neighbors is going to join us. It's the neighborhood, and it's a visit with Jameis Winston. He ran errands with Jameis. We're going to play some audio from that. That's really freaking cool, and we'll get a preview of what the Saints will do this weekend against the Falcons. Quick break. Stay with us. Mike Neighbors next.
Time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hi, my name is Mike Warner, a Navy vet. I've had problems with addictions throughout the many decades. Something saved my life, and that is the Heroes Mile program.
Hi, I'm Bill Lennox, retired Lieutenant General, United States Army. If you have any challenges in alcohol, drug, if you have PTSD, MST, think about Heroes Mile.
Heroes Mile, a recovery center for veterans by veterans. Call 1-888-VET-NOW2 to learn more or visit heroesmile.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our second hour by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They have $100 off their weight loss plans right now. Great place to do it. You know, some of these chiropractors are advertising weight loss programs. Folks, go to a licensed medical group like Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Christopher Lugo was on the program a couple of weeks ago talking about their process, and they get your blood work done. They look at your personal situation, what your health is now, how much you can do from an exercise standpoint, and they develop a personalized plan for you that's going to work for your lifestyle. This one-size-fits-all, take a pill, get a shot thing does not work long-term. You got to do something personalized that you buy into, and that's the way they do it at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. So contact them at BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com, and please tell them JP sent you. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Mike Neighbors. Covers the Saints, covers the Bucs. He's a Renaissance man, as we like to say. He's a published author. He is a teacher. He's a professor, and one hell of a piano player, I'm told. So welcome in, Mike Neighbors. How are you?
Now you're embellishing. You were good, and then you embellished. How are you guys?
We're great. We're great. I know you've had an interesting offseason, and we're queuing up some of this good stuff that you did with Jameis going out on the errands. First of all, he's going to play, right? He's ready to go.
Oh, yeah. To me, he has it all laid out.
Of course he does.
He has it. It's all there for him.
Yes.
I think this is what intrigues me about the Saints, JP and Nick. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing great.
Last year, they blow out the Packers in the season opener. So impressive.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Patriots on the road, and they do it without Michael Thomas, without Jarvis Landry, without Chris Olave they drafted in the first round. And frankly, Jameis didn't use Kamara like Breeze did. And so you're beating those teams with a great defense and Marquez Callaway and Traquan Smith and zero tight end. So you add those weapons to this offense. I want to see what happens here.
Yeah, and you're talking about Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Alvin Kamara, who's not going to be suspended.
Yeah.
This is, obviously Jameis played very well early on last year. I think he had the top touchdown to pass ratio. I think he was at 14-3 when the Bucs got him and put him out for the season. So, yeah, I mean, if Jameis is healthy, I've always been a big fan of his. We all know his turnovers are the issue. Right. And Sean Payton either coached it out of him or play called it out of him last year. So, I think it's a little bit more of the latter. Yeah. We weren't letting him do much. But how much rope do you think Dennis Allen is going to give them, their new head coach?
Well, the interesting part of the dynamic with the offense is, how offensive coordinator could be a title, right? And that's Pete Carmichael's the mystery man because he's been with Sean Payton and Drew Brees since that regime took over in 2006. So there is continuity for Jameis Winston in that regard. But let's be honest, though. I mean, Sean Payton's making that tough call on third down. Right. He's calling for the trick play. He's game planning. He's adjusting. I like Pete Carmichael, but that is why the Saints aren't getting any love nationally, because Sean Payton's not there. He's not the play caller. He's one of the elite play callers in the NFL. So I thought the biggest loser when Sean Payton resigned was Jameis Winston, because Jameis Winston needs a coach like a Sean Payton, like an Andy Reid, like a Shanahan, a guy who's going to really revamp his offense and bring it back a little bit for him. So, the Aaron's episode, and I know we're going to talk about it. It's a series I created where we run errands with sports celebrities. They pick 3 or 4 errands, really 3, and we have great conversations. And that's a lost art in our business with COVID, with social media. It's not the athlete's fault. It's just the way of the world. But I've covered Jameis Winston like you have since his Florida State days. Yeah. And we spent 2 hours in a car together. When we got done, I really learned a lot about him. And I never pretend to know these guys. We never fully know athletes, but I learned a lot about him. And we talked a lot about things off the record with the Bucs and a lot of things about his life. But this is a big takeaway for me with Jameis Winston was, think about this. He's 27 years old, guys. He's been in the spotlight for 10 years. I mean, when he won the Heisman Trophy, he was the youngest Heisman Trophy winner ever. Of course, there have been younger ones since then. Like Lamar Jackson was a few weeks younger in subsequent years. And I asked him, I said, "You're 27. How old do you feel?" And he just laughed. He wouldn't give me a specific number. But here's the tricky thing. If Jameis Winston has a big year, guys, he'll have a big contract, and he has plenty of time to resurrect that career and the reputation. So it's all there for him.
Well, he already runs like Fred Sanford, so he's probably close to 80. I've always said that. Jameis is always, when he talks, you got to listen. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be poignant. It may be. It's going to be very interesting, and one way or another. Yep. So let's listen to a little bit. Set up this clip. We queued it up to where you said 4:38. This is you and him running in a car. By the way, did he try to touch your upper thigh when he was sitting?
Hey. See, if that 2 hours would have been cut to 50 minutes if I would have brought that up.
Exactly.
But with Jameis and everything,
like you would do that.
Well, one thing I did ask him, I didn't say this specifically, but I thought about it with NIL now.
Yeah.
And the crab legs deal. He could have exploded.
Oh, my God. What an opportunity. What an opportunity he would have had right there, right?
I did bring up NIL, though. If they would have had that when he was playing at Florida State, God, I can't remember. He came up with some saying with his teammates during the week, and he said the next day the saying was on a T-shirt, and it was all over campus.
Right.
And he looked at me, he said, that would have been a little different now.
Yeah, well,
absolutely. But with everything you're talking about, good or bad with Jameis Winston, he's never boring. To me, people always have an opinion about Jameis Winston, and it's never the same. So I asked him this question.
All right, here we go. From Aaron's.
As long as you've been, people have a opinion of you. What is the biggest misunderstanding about Jameis Winston?
Some people might say that I'm goofy, but I'm just all in. Like I'm very intentional with what I do.
Right.
My answers are going to be direct. I'm a very personable person, and I like having fun.
Being himself is what separates Jameis Winston, which includes his patented eating of the W's. But how did all of this start?
The alphabet soup.
Yeah.
I always talk about, hey, we finishing the soup today, and we don't finish with a W. You know what I'm saying? We got to eat that W. Like, that's all these distractions of these other letters around here. We focus on eating the W's. That's all we eating in the soup.
I'm getting the origination of eating the W's.
All right. So now we know. Had
there
we
you go.
About the alphabet soup, it would have made so much more sense.
He told me.
He still looks ridiculous doing it, but at least it would have made a little bit of sense.
All right. This is the backstory. And if you watch this episode, go to YouTube, do errands like you're running errands in New Orleans Saints and Jameis Winston, just Jameis Winston errands. But, you shoot opening stand-ups. So we shot a generic one, and it was hot. This was about mid-July. and middle of training camp, or right before training camp, and it was still hot. And so I said, okay, that was a good one. But I said, do you want to take this next level? And he said, absolutely. So we did the same kind of stand up. And I said, because we're transitioning from former players to current players for these episodes. So I said, I am hungry to get this started. And we rehearsed it. He nailed it in one take. Jameis walks up and goes, well, if you're hungry, we got to eat some W's. And so we both ate the W's together. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
That is next level. Is there any other time codes we want to go to grab? Or
well, that's the open. You'll see it. The open. Here's the thing with Jameis is, this is the thing about people, really, and all the misnomers with social media these days, where we think everybody's life is perfect. We think we know all these people, and we could have a long discussion about this with Tom Brady, even, or whatever's going on, But Jameis Winston told me something interesting, that he grew up in a house full of 20 people, primarily raised by his grandmother. Yeah. And so his agent and Jameis's dad sent me some pictures, and he says, that's why I'm such a people person, because that's all I've known is I've been surrounded by people my whole life, whether it's going to bed in a cot where there's all these people around me, or whether I'm eating lunch or dinner. You got to understand maybe why he is the way he is in terms of that personality, because here's the thing about Jameis, good or bad, when you meet him, you like him. You do. He's a guy, and he's a guy that wants to be liked too.
Oh my God. Maybe to a fault. To a fault. Yeah. When Deshaun Jackson says, keep throwing the ball to me, and he listens to him because he wants to make everybody happy. He can't play football that way. And he learned that. And and I've always said this from the very beginning. He's so misunderstood. Have you ever met a teammate that didn't absolutely want to run through a wall for Jameis Winston? That tells you everything he knew. He knew that every person at One Buck Place, from the lunch lady to the janitor to everybody, knew them all by name. You could take all the qualities that Tom Brady has off the field and, those intangibles, and you could apply them to Jameis Winston in terms of how he tries to motivate people. Obviously, it's not to the success of Brady, but my God, the effort is there.
Well, I saw you just had Scott Carter on. I saw Billy Napier changing the culture at Florida by having everybody wear name tags so they get to know everybody's name in the organization at the University of Florida football, whoever it is, cafeteria, janitor, everybody gets to know everybody. And I think that's important. And this about Jameis, and I know the PR staff at the Bucs told me this when he was first drafted. He made it a point to learn everybody's name. Yeah. Whether it was in the media, whether it was the PR staff, anybody in the Bucs organization. And that says a lot about somebody to me. I'm not defending everything Jameis Winston's done. He's made some mistakes, but boy, there's a lot of good with him too. And I think that should be brought out. And that's what I try to do in these episodes is it's not Pollyanna, it's getting to know people. We did one with Jim Mora, and think about it. When you think of Jim Mora, what do you think of? Playoffs and going off against the media. And the night before we shot it, I saw him in a preseason game, and I said, Coach, I have a lot of respect for you. But if we talk about your rants, I can take this to a whole new level. So when we did the open for that one, he did errands, and then we talked about that, and he was really honest about it. So that's what I love about being in the media, frankly, is we have an opportunity to get to know these guys and to show the public, frankly, a different side of them, and that's what this is all about.
Well, and that's why I love your series, because, we really don't get to do that much anymore. I'm shocked, actually, that we're allowed back in the locker rooms. I haven't been able to take advantage of it yet because of the timing of it. But, it's good to see that happening, because it's better when the media develops a rapport with the players. And I know there's a big push now for the players to have a direct conduit to the fans. And there's no problem with that. The Players Tribune, social media, I have no problem with that. But I think the media plays an important role. Free and open media, by the way, plays a role, because we should be filtering some of these messages and be not in a censorship kind of way, but ask them challenging questions that they're not going to volunteer on their own, in a respectful way. But that, to me, is when it's working at its best, and we can kind of get to know people and players, and then present that, what our perception of that this is to the people. And if you're doing a good job as a reporter or a writer, I think there's a special essence to that. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And here's the interesting part of that is In my book with Drew Brees, we talked about social media, and he said, you know what? All these athletes have platforms, but some it's actually good for them because they're not comfortable in that press conference setting.
Right.
They're better at articulating on social media, but a lot of athletes do like the one-on-one. When Jameis and I got done, he looked at me, he said, you know what? This was fun. I really enjoyed this. I haven't had an interview like this.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciated about Jameis had said something about him is I had mentioned my relationship with Drew and I'd mentioned the book. And at the end of the interview, when he's getting out of the car, he's like, "What's the name of that book again?" He goes, I want to buy it. And I said, No, I have one for you. Like, he really had listened to me and had listened to about our relationship with Drew. And I mean, to me, he took it in. He just wasn't faking it. And I know he's read it since then. And I thought that said a lot about him. But back to what you're saying, yeah, I think athletes are all different, like all of us are. But I think younger athletes who have just been used to these Zooms during the pandemic, if they had a taste of what the one-on-one interviews were like, I think they'd actually enjoy them, and it would give them a platform to be more comfortable and show a side of the fans they haven't seen.
Yeah, and I think the teams do not do them a service in the way that they protect them from the media. I think they believe that they are, and in some instances they might. But the protecting of the players and not having them, be able to do shows and go outside the organization to do things. Obviously, Brady does that because he has the clout to do it. But most of these rookies and other kids, we used to do shows with Jeff Fain and Sabby Piscatelli and Ernest Graham and all these stuff. That's you don't see the clubs frown on that now. They frown upon that stuff, and I think it's a disservice to the players. I really do.
I'm still amazed. What, Brady's talked to the media twice since he unretired?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And one of them wasn't even mandatory. That was the one after the Colts game that was very enlightening. He's supposed to talk today too. I don't know what it could be cliche Brady today.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. Hey, outside of Jameis, what does the Saints team look like? And I had to ask you this because they've lost two key parts of their secondary here late.
Yeah.
In the trades of was it Marcus May and
Marcus Williams and Malcolm Jenkins retired. Yeah.
And so how does that affect the way they play against the Bucs? Because those man-to-man matchups have always been their secret sauce. Malcolm Jenkins could play Gronk, and their corners could match up well against Evans, et cetera, et cetera. So how does that change in personnel vis-a-vis, I know we're getting ahead to week 2 here, hurt their secondary?
Well, I think actually they may have an upgrade. They bring in Honey Badger. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu steps in, and they also have Marcus May. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with his road rage incident last week. He looked to be, the salary cap issues of the Saints have been well documented, JP. But think about it. You bring in the Honey Badger, you bring in Marcus May, that could be an upgrade because Marcus Williams has his deficiencies. And, Malcolm Jenkins was getting older, and Tyrann Mathieu's younger, and Marcus May in some ways is more physical than Marcus Williams. So, if Marcus May, I don't know how that's going to shake out. Let's just say he plays. I think the Saints secondary is arguably the strength of the football team because you have Marshawn Lattimore on one side and you have Paulson Adebo on the other side. Mm-hmm. They've been trying to, bring in veterans to beat him out. He had the best training camp of any Saints defensive player, Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. So they just keep reloading. They keep nailing it in the draft. And despite all their cap problems, they just keep going. Getting Mathieu, he's fired up to be in New Orleans. And they have so many leaders on that defense at every stop. Cam Jordan on the D-line, DeMario Davis at linebacker. But Mathieu, I think, will be better than Malcolm Jenkins.
And switching back to the offense real quick, I saw Michael Thomas return to practice, I think, yesterday? And it looks like, by all accounts, he's going to play, at least in week 1 here, against Atlanta. And, he's going up against, likely, I would think, A.J. Terrell, who's one of the better cover corners in the league. So with that being said, the tough matchup, week 1 is first football game in 2 years, basically. Should we temper expectations a little bit of what we're going to expect from Michael Thomas early on?
Absolutely. I think he's kind of in that Chris Godwin category, but it's a little different because Godwin's played more, but you don't know how good he's going to be from the jump here. Here's the thing about Michael Thomas I'm excited to see, though. Michael Thomas in his Saints career, Nick, he's never had the support he's had at wide receiver. He's had to do all this stuff with, receivers who aren't even close to his talent level. Now he's got a Jarvis Landry. Now he's got a Chris Olave. He's got Kamara coming out of the backfield. And you got your ultimate gadget guy in Taysom Hill playing tight end full time now. So with all that help, he's going to get, I think, a lot more open on a more regular basis. And he's not used to that. It's just the physical part. Yeah, I'm going to temper a little bit for that.
Yeah, the Saints, I mean, I've said this all along. I still think the Bucs are going to win the division, but the Saints are going to be, I think they're a playoff team. It remains to be seen. The loss of Sean Payton, I think, obviously is the biggest thing. How do they, like you mentioned, how do they call the plays? How do they make managing the game is a huge part of being successful in the NFL. And I thought Sean Payton was one of the better ones at it. So, Dennis Allen's going to have to figure that out. That is a talent. So we'll see how it goes down against the Falcons, who, according to Grady Jackson, could compete for the Super Bowl. I saw that quote. I'm like, I didn't see that. Whoa, Jose. Whoa. Yeah. He said, why not? We got Kyle Pitts. I'm like, okay.
And what else?
I don't know. But Grady Jackson, they got his big ass, and they got Kyle Pitts' big ass.
All right, can you name 5 Falcons quickly?
Oh, God. Mariota, Grady Jackson, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, the gambler.
I just named one for you.
Who's that?
I named one for you like a minute ago. Who's probably the best one of them all?
Who's that?
Terrell.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. But, hey,
if you can barely name 5 guys, that's a problem.
Yeah. The Bengals, but, could you name 5 Bengals before last season?
It'd be tough.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? With the NFL kicking off tonight, let's face it, guys. That's why we love the NFL, because you can turn it around so quickly.
You never know. You just never know. Hey, quick thought on Brady. And we talked about this at the top of the show. With all the turmoil in this offseason, here we are like 3-4 nights away, and Tom Brady's going to be behind center for the Tampa Bay Bucs with a freaking stacked team on Sunday night. I think they have a chance to embarrass Dallas, to be quite honest. And I think this whole offseason has just in the 11 days off was the greatest thing ever for Brady, because it got him right, mind, body, and soul. Whatever he had to get done with his family, he got done. The word is he's been smoking hot at practice. The guy's arm is better than it's ever been. And I know this about Brady. You put a little turmoil and adversity in front of him, and that just gets him even sharper and more laser focused. So I say watch out. I think this is going to be a big year for him if he stays healthy.
Yeah, all this stuff about his personal life, let him settle it, man. It's just all of a step back. Just let him deal with it. And to me, I don't worry about Tom Brady, but I do worry about the offensive line in front of Tom Brady. Shaq Mason, a great pickup. But how do you feel about this, JP? My whole thing is, Tristan Wirfs is going to be great. But Gronk really helped that offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
In a lot of ways. And he wasn't making the plays that Gronk made down the stretch, but having him on that offensive line and also that security blanket to Brady, that can't be understated. Nope. He made guys like Donovan Smith, he elevated guys like that on the offensive line. So I think not having Gronk, obviously not having Ryan Jensen, Ali Marpet, those are problems. Yeah. And I just want to see how that comes together.
Well, if anybody can overcome him, it's his, because of his quick release. So I think they'll mitigate that. But I thought they're dangerously thin at center and guard. So, and I was expecting them to make a move. They did not. I was shocked by that, to be quite honest. So we'll see if that ends up biting them in the ass. Because if Hainsey goes down, it's Nick Leverett. I mean,
well, how about this though? The Shaq Mason restructure, is that opening the door for Gronk?
I think it's Gronk or maybe an interior lineman trade that they may be looking at somewhere. I do think they have to do something, or at least they'll be nimble enough to be able to do something. I think there's this weird expectation that Ryan Jensen can come back at some point this season. We don't because the swelling hasn't gone down. Evidently, they don't have an ice pack over at One Buck Place because, the dude's been swollen for 6 weeks, for God's sakes. Every time we ask, we're waiting for the swelling to go down. Holy crap, they've taken Viagra for 6 weeks. I don't know what the hell's going on, but the swelling's not going down.
If you want to be Pollyanna, maybe Brady was gone because he was trying to convince Gronk, please come back.
Maybe. I still think Gronk's coming back.
I do too.
I don't know why, but I still think that, especially with, Brady having to deal with these off the field problems. I mean, you want to have his confidant there and, his best buddy. it just seems like it makes sense. All right, promote all your tremendous content there, Mike Neighbors.
The Breeze Way, my book I released almost a year ago. December's coming up here. It's still doing well. Big in Japan, by the way. A couple.
You've always been big in Japan, Neighbors.
Big in Japan recently, yeah. Got a following in London. A lot of Saints fans are in London this year. Yeah, absolutely. So, and then check out Jameis. Bucs fans, I know you have your opinions on Jameis Winston, but go to YouTube, hit errands like you're running errands, and Jameis Winston. We're going to do them with Jarvis Landry coming up and Cam Jordan and Mark Ingram, a lot of current players. So it's a concept I'm trying to bring here in Tampa. I don't want to reveal, but we're getting closer. So
that's great.
I will say this, leaving you. You're thinking about Gronk. Remember the days when we would have a press conference when they would retire? Wouldn't the Gronk retirement press conference be epic? But we'll never see that because of social media, you know?
Well, he might have an episode on one of his shows.
That's true. He should do that.
It will involve a lot of bikini-clad women surfboards and probably ice sculptures to do shots off of. I think all that's going to be involved in that, for sure. All right, I'm going to go watch errands after the show just to see Jameis. And do we have your permission to use the audio? Because Nick is going to put together a Jameis montage next week of all his greatest sound bites.
Just courtesy of the Saints. And if you retweet it, put it out there, just say it's on Saints platforms. That's all legally I have to say for that.
Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. The great Mike Neighbors.
Hey, nice job by your nose, by the way.
How about that?
You weren't nervous for that one, were you?
I actually was very confident. If you listened to me last week, I thought the Knowles would win.
Yeah.
But that last minute was the worst hell of my life.
What's Norvell doing, man? Come on.
He's out of his, I don't know what the hell he was doing. The things I said about Mike Norvell in the last minute of that game. And then they rushed 3 the whole time. Like, just as they're going down the field, I'm screaming. Everybody's like, will you stop effing rushing 3? I'm like, what are you doing? And then they score, and then we block the kick in the roller coaster. It was ridiculous. And then you go out to Bourbon Street, and it smells like urine everywhere. By the way, New Orleans used to be a great city. What a trash pile. What the hell happened to New Orleans?
Well, and the worst thing is, and the locals will tell you this, the leadership has been bad for a long time, and now it's taking its toll.
Shocking.
And the crime there is really bad.
Yeah, we literally would not leave the house. We didn't, we had a Airbnb, and we're like, yeah, we're not. We walked down the street to get donuts one morning, and I was like, okay, let's take the long way back to the house so people don't know where we're staying. It was you did not feel safe there. It's the entire place smelled like urine. I mean, it was disgusting.
Right. It's a shame. It's one of America's unique cities, and they got to fix it. They had a resurgence after Katrina, but the last couple of years have been really bad. It has.
Yeah, so sad. It's happening all over America to our great cities. Unbelievable. All right, Mike Neighbors, appreciate your time as always.
All right, guys. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a little break here. Remind you that we're brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. In our second hour, they present this. So if you want to lose some weight, get lean, or just get healthy, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and his medical team there will take great care of you. Personalized medicine at its finest. If you're tired of seeing your doctor for 15 minutes and getting a script, go where you can get some medical attention, personal attention. That's Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, we'll be back to hear from Todd Bowles and Mike Evans on his Sunday Night Football matchup with the Cowboys. How about the Cowboys?
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Always great to chat with Mike Neighbors. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's hurricane season. You know, we've been really lucky. Everything's turned away, but you never know. So you better be prepared. 64% of homeowners do not have enough coverage. That means you, likely, and you don't even know it. So that's why you got to call the good folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and they will get you covered to every extent, because you do not want to have damage to your house. And then the insurance company say, oh, sorry, you're underinsured, and you're left with, a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 shortfall. Not something you really want to explain to the wife. So give them a call, 813-877-7799. A human being will answer the phone. How about that? And they'll get you to an agent right away, and they'll take care of you. Have them shop your homeowner's insurance while you're at it as well, and your business insurance. If you do not have business insurance, if you started like a side hustle, and now it's a thriving business during COVID, you got to get insurance, or your personal fortune could be at risk. So do that as well. 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance, making a difference in our community for over 60 years. And they will be bringing you this seminal report tomorrow with our good friend Patrick Burnham, as I believe they have the weekend off. Florida State does. And then they got Louisville. UCF has Louisville this weekend, right? At home?
Yeah, and I'm going to be there tomorrow night. It's big game gold.
It's Friday night?
Friday night.
Ooh.
UCF's wearing the big game gold uniforms, black on black with the gold lids.
You know what? I'm going to be in Orlando tomorrow.
You are?
But it's sold out. You can't get a ticket, right?
You can always get a ticket on the secondary market.
Of course.
I know Corey Long's going to be up in the press box. We confirmed that yesterday. The Bounce House. It's going to be one of the more livelier games in that stadium this year.
I do love me some college football.
Yeah, and you could do some FSU scouting.
That's why I'm there. Tax write-off. Hey, so the Bucs just released this, right? This is the new Brady show. It's called Armchair
Quarterback.
Armchair Quarterback. It's on the Tampa Bay Bucs website. And so people are sending in their questions for Tom Brady as he sits in a big armchair, and they play the questions.
A little cup here, a little mug, by the way. It says "Best Dad Ever."
Best dad ever. I was
sucking up.
I had a Zoom hearing yesterday with my ex-wife, so I had a cup of coffee. You know what mug I had? Best dad ever. Sipping my coffee.
That's totally you. That's on brand.
Hello, Judge. You can't read it. It's backwards, but it says best dad ever. My kids gave me this, in case you didn't know. So me and Brady, we got the same mug. So here's a surprise question that they've just picked out of the hat at random. And it's a dude by the name of Gronk. And look, you might hear a little bit of recruiting going on in this video. Tell me what you think.
Another question from a fan.
Ever since I stopped playing that foosball game, I don't get a chance to hang out with the guys in the locker room. And now I'm having to resort to sending in these video questions to see if Tommy will answer me. I was thinking about getting a tattoo to remember all our great times over the years. So my question for Tom is, what should I get and where should I put it?
Ooh.
If he'll even answer me. Any suggestions?
Okay.
Great question, Gronky.
Yeah.
You want a tattoo? You know what I think you need, Gronk? You know what you need? You need a rising phoenix right across your back, a la Boston's own Ben Affleck. The rising phoenix is about overcoming adversity, rising through the ashes, and reclaiming your glory, all of which I hope you really want to do at some point. I'm not sure if you do. But if there's one thing that would inspire you, don't think about your teammates. Don't think about this amazing facility, the free food you'd get, the free swag and gear that we get from my man, Brad. Think about returning to glory and what that rising phoenix could do for you on your big back. That's my challenge to you, Gronk. If that's what you're looking for, I gave you a great piece of advice.
Oh, that sounds like the A1 elevator pitch, recruiting pitch right there. He played the free swag card and the free food, which to Gronk means a lot.
A lot.
So yeah, that was a flat out recruiting video right there. Does that not tell you that Gronk is coming? So now they cleared cap space, and then they put out the Tom Brady recruiting video.
And maybe sooner than we expected.
How dumb are we?
Yeah, sooner than we expected, maybe. And remember, the Bucs put this out.
The Bucs
not
put
Brady.
This out. Not Brady.
The Bucs put this out.
That is sanctioned by the team. But a little great piece of acting there by Brady. He's really good when he wants to not be Mr.
I love
Cliche
it.
Tommy.
I love it.
When he doesn't want to be Cliche Tommy.
Which we'll see which one we get today.
So there's another piece of audio I just retweeted. This is Morgan Freeman. This is one of his business ventures. All right. So I think he's for Under Armour. He's doing a piece for Under Armour. So this is a letter that Tom Brady is writing to himself, or wrote to himself, or to prospect or athletes coming up that are compared to him, to Tom Brady. Instead of Tom Brady reading it, he had the GOAT of voiceovers, Morgan Freeman, the best of all time, do it. So let's listen to this.
This is the letter I've been telling you about.
This letter is for you. From what I hear, you're supposed to be the next Tom Brady. What I'm about to say is important. Never let them call you the next Tom Brady. When they compare you to the GOATs, tune it out. When they say you're a 6th round draft pick, store it away. Compare yourself to nobody but the kid in the mirror. The one who goes all in, all out, and has the crazy confidence to know that who you are today is just a piece of who you're going to become. This letter's for that you, the one no one will see coming. Sincerely, Tom.
Oh, chills. How good is Morgan Freeman?
Fantastic. Protect at all costs. Morgan Freeman.
That is a great spot in Under Armour. Holy heck, that is a great spot. Wow, that is really powerful. Really, really powerful. The words and the voiceover and the whole sequence with him sitting there with Morgan Freeman, Brady sitting there with Morgan Freeman. That's great stuff. I'll sit for 2.5 minutes or whatever it is during a timeout to watch stuff like that. But, the 17,000 Progressive commercial, God, save me. Freaking save. But worse than that, Liberty. Like, I will never buy Liberty insurance. I'll never, just because of your ads are so effing bad. Horrible. Stop it. Do something different. For once. Nobody wants to see that freaking ostrich and that dork. Is it an ostrich? No, it's an emu.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to these commercials as much as you do.
Oh. How can you not? It's on there's 17 of them on every sporting event.
Have we seen the new Nick Saban spot yet on Affleck? I haven't seen that one yet.
With him and Jimbo Fisher? Him and Dion.
I mean, it's right, him and Dion, right?
Yeah, well, it was.
It was
until
last year.
Saban
Which
called him out.
That has to be Nick Saban's, like, he does not look forward to that day every single year. There's no way to do that Aflac commercial.
Well, the thing that just blows my mind about that are the stereotypes that, that they give to Prime. The big gold chain, the dancers, and everything. I'm like, how do you get away with that this day and age? I think it's great. It's fantastic. It's celebrating the culture of historically black football. I think it's fantastic. But this day and age, it's like, whoa, totally triggered. What's going on? By the way, Tim Ham, our Dallas Cowboys insider, will join us tomorrow. Had a little bit of a scheduling conflict today, so he will join us tomorrow. And we'll also have fantasy football talk and a lot of other stuff. Did you see the Rory McIlroy comment?
I'm tired of these guys.
The LIV
I did.
versus PGA. Somebody asked him, it's like, when you get down into that final match and it's you against an live golfer, like, is it, on Sunday, is it going to be, give you a little extra impetus to win? He goes, well, it's going to be a little strange for them. They might be a little tired because it's Sunday. Oh, shots fired. Oh,
they're living rent free in Rory's head. Every night he looks at his mirror and he rehearses these lines for the next day.
And then
every
comes back
single day
from 8 strokes down to win the tour championship.
That's great. That's great.
He's really affected by that.
That's great.
Yeah, he's mentally just tortured by it.
That's great.
Almost won every major this year and then wins the tour championship. While the rest of these bums are going off to their little exhibition league.
Bums.
Drinking Miller Lights in between holes.
Wearing shorts.
Smoking.
You didn't appreciate seeing Phil Mickelson playing in shorts last week?
The next minute I watch of Live Golf will be the first.
Hey,
no
I'm
interest
being
in it
honest.
whatsoever.
I'm being honest. I saw some
Zero.
clips.
I saw some clips.
Hold up.
From Australia.
It was in Boston. Thank you.
Right.
Saw some clips of the Boston event. I'm telling you, at the end, it was very exciting. Did you not see the whole Dustin Johnson, the putt to win?
No, I didn't see it. You know why? Because it wasn't on TV.
Oh, here we go.
That's why I didn't see it.
It was
wasn't on
cool,
freaking
and there was a
TV.
good crowd there for that. It felt like a real golf event at the end.
There you go. Felt like a real golf event because it's not.
Well, that's good though.
Well, it felt like it for that little clip
Listen,
that I saw.
I don't enjoy the fact that we have two separate golf tours and a lot of good golfers are moving on. But I just don't. Why does the PGA Tour players have to always talk about it? Like yesterday, I told you, Ian Poulter is just minding his own business on the putting green.
Counting his money.
And Billy Horschel wants to come over and start something. Why? Why?
First of all, it's Billy Horschel. Billy Horschel don't give a rip.
I know, but he's just
Zero
like
F's given for
he went up to him and he's like, "What are you doing here? You didn't want to be here anymore. Why are you here?" Like,
good for him. These people are threatening your very existence as a tour.
Oh my gosh,
and you're
they're
not
not
supposed
going
to be
anywhere.
pissed off. You're not supposed to be pissed off at that when somebody costs you tens of millions of dollars. You're not supposed to be. They're threatening to F
Wait,
up
cool.
your
You were
entire
offered
tour.
the same money too.
Well, yeah, but you had some principle to know that this is just a flash in the pan. It's not going to last. It's just Greg Norman's desperate attempt to finally get back at the PGA Tour, and he found people stupid enough to waste their effing money to do some sports washing when we all know what you're doing anyway. So it's stupid. It doesn't accomplish what it was supposed to accomplish. It's just effing up golf, and I don't like it. Listen, the PGA Tour, I will say this. They needed to get off their ass years and years ago. I've said the same thing about college football. You had to be forced to go find this money when that money was always there. That's on you, PGA Tour, and Live Golf made you do that. Okay, I'll give you that. But short of that, you've effed up the game of golf, and I'm not going to celebrate that. And I'm not going to celebrate it. And I think it's, I'm not necessarily mad at the players. But for the PGA Tour players, it's nothing more. It's the same thing as strikers. Or people that come in and, cross the picket line, to get their money while everybody else is sacrificing to keep the tour, which has grown golf from its very beginnings, where people become famous to then go on the Live Tour. The Live Tour is just like a carpetbagger, bunch of jackasses coming in, let me check these stars here. We'll throw money at them. We'll have a big old party with 54 holes. Nobody gets cut. Everybody gets money. We'll have teams and everything. And we'll be on YouTube like us. So, I mean, I'm sorry.
Hey, by the way, real note here before the end. I don't know if you saw this, but today was our first day where we got the official Fanatics college football jerseys with actual players' names on them. which is groundbreaking. 19 teams rolling it out. Florida State is one of them.
Yes.
Quick question to you. If you had to buy one with any player on Florida State currently,
Oh, no question.
who are you picking?
JT.
JT?
13.
I want that verse jersey.
Oh boy, did he have
Which
a hell of a game. That 5 is looking
yeah,
sweet.
I want my UCF one, but shocker, the UCF jerseys have not been released today because Fanatics did not decide to release them because they don't prioritize UCF at all.
No, they shouldn't win a national championship and get that treatment. Then you're part of the big 3. Then you can be the big 4 if you win a national.
You know what? We'll
title.
see.
A real one.
We'll see. We'll see who's playing in a
real
New Year's Six game at the end of the year. We'll see. Because I'll call the shot right now that UCF will be representing the Group of 5.
Yeah, if they played FSU schedule, they would.
I think UCF could beat that LSU team too.
We'll see if they can beat Louisville.
Okay. That could beat Syracuse.
We'll have a common opponent. Yeah, I'm not pinning my hopes on Louisville. All right. Thanks to Mike Neighbors. Great interview with Mike. Go check out that Errands with Jameis Winston on all the Saints platforms. You go to the Saints website and check it out there, or go to YouTube. Yes, and thanks to Scott Carter as well, our Gator Report, brought to you by Jeeves Law Firm. And we'll be back tomorrow. We got fantasy football. We got Tim Ham, Dallas Cowboys Insider, and we will be doing a pregame show from Dallas on Sunday. Have a great day. What?
Sorry, real quick before we go, who you got tonight?
Who do I got tonight?
Rams,
I got
Bills.
the Bills. I got Josh Allen and the Bills, baby.
Rolling with the Rams.
All right. For a 6-pack. See you tomorrow.